I have not been able to sleep for days because of Donald Trump's escalating language about how he intends to act as it pertains to the Iranian civilian population. You know, over the weekend, we know on Easter Sunday, he talked about bombing power plants and bridges and basically confessed in advance that his intention is to commit war crimes, and then waking up this morning to say that he will end civilization in Iran as we know it is nothing short of apocalyptic. It's been the worst time of my life. I mean, this has been a massive challenge as the only Iranian-American Democrat in Congress. You know, and as somebody who has actually studied the region, I've lived in the Middle East, I studied international relations in both undergrad and graduate school, focused on Iranian studies. I speak the language. I know a lot about Iran and its history and the regime apparatus and how they operate. So I also am very aware of how detrimental the way Trump has gone about this war is ultimately going to be for the Iranian people, because the way they're going about bombing civilian infrastructure, it's only the people who suffer in this. The regime, this is a gift to them. So it's been really hard for our family, and I will say, like, being so vocally anti-war, I mean, I have been the subject of significant harassment and threats over the last month or so. I don't feel safe at home. We've been doxxed, got really crazy threats. I think there's a lot of both like orchestrated online propaganda when you are staunchly anti-war, and also some, you know, organic from real people that's been, you know, something I never wanted to experience. So my parents are from two different cities. My dad grew up in Tehran, which is the capital, and my mom grew up in Isfahan, which is the second or third largest city, and it's a really beautiful, historic city. You know, they grew up there during, you know, much better times. It was during the late Shah's rule, and while it wasn't a full democracy, the country was very open, very pro-West, and a lot more rights, you know, were had by women, for example. And I mean, neither of my parents ever wanted to leave Iran. I don't think, if had the revolution not happened, I mean, I would not be sitting here today. And I think many Iranian-American families across the country have had very vigorous debates at the dinner table, and I think everyone's really on edge. I think at the beginning, a lot of people were very hopeful about change that this might bring, and I'll say I think about 30% of the diaspora still feels that way, but as the war has gone on and as people have come to see that Donald Trump doesn't have good intentions and doesn't have a plan as it pertains to a real future for Iranian people or any sort of transition to democracy, I think reality has set in that he was selling a fantasy. We need to amp up the pressure on this administration in any way possible. I think the more and more members of Congress call for the invocation of the 25th Amendment, the better. We've seen just overnight that number go from just a couple of us to over 50 members of Congress have said that the 25th Amendment must be invoked. Now, of course, that needs to come from the cabinet. I have been repeating over and over again that I think Vice President J.D. Vance has an opportune moment right now as somebody who wants to run for the presidency in 2028 and who has long stood against endless wars. This is his moment to show that. I worry that Trump will follow through on his threats. And I mean, we have to be honest with ourselves that we've never had a president of the United States use language like this, even if it's just words on a Truth Social post. For the president of the president of this country and the leader of the free world to take to social media and say, we will end a civilization of a country of 90 million people, what are we still doing here if this is not the time that Americans rise up and say, no, this is not who we are, this is not what we want in our president, and that leaders, irregardless of their political party, do everything they can to stop this person. Like, this is mad.
Then like, share, and subscribe to Mirror Now.